welcome back and good morning. Today is National I Love Horses Day, and what better than to be here at Rolling Hills Farm in Cape Girardeau County. We're here with the owner, Kristin Welker. Good morning, Kristin. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about Rolling Hills. What are you guys all about?
The farm has been in my family for over 100 years, and we board horses and give riding lessons primarily. We do some summer camps and birthday parties, but mainly it's horseback riding lessons and horse boarding. So it's 70 acres. We have about 40 horses here. I own about 15 of them, and we board the rest. And I have about, right now it's really busy. We've got about 75 people riding here a week, and we have about 20 horses and ponies that work for us. So
holy cow, that's incredible. And what's the main reason that you see people come in to do horseback riding lessons? Why are people getting involved in that?
I think for a lot of people, they recognize that it's an outdoor activity. You know, they like, especially, I would say 75% of my clientele are children. And people want their kids to get out of the house, out of the subdivision, out of the city, and be able to come out to the farm. And obviously we specialize with horses, but we've got the goats and the rabbits and the chickens, and so they see a lot of different stuff and have a lot of different exposure while they're here. And it's just one of those things. It seems like most every child at some point wants to have an experience with a horse. They want to ride it, they want to try it out. There's a lot of turnaround in horseback riding. It's not for everybody. It tends to be more challenging than a lot of people would realize, not just physically, but mentally, and so it does take a lot of work to control what could be a 1,000-pound animal that's letting you ride its back, you know. But yeah, everybody wants to try it, and that's the good news for me, because there's always new kids being born. And I've given lessons here for about 20 years. Some of my clients, like just the other day, some people brought a little kid, and the little kid was here for a pony ride, and she said, "I used to ride with you when I was a teenager." And I'm like, ooh, me and Shay getting old together, you know. But and my oldest client is 84. My youngest is probably 2. I do have a lot of adults that come and ride with me, homeschool kids that come and ride with me. And it's a full-time job. Oh,
I believe it. That's incredible that your oldest client is 84 years old. So this
and I tell people she's my best friend. I love my adult clients just like I do my kid clients. So
that's incredible. And this goes to show that this is a activity, a sport that someone can do up into their 80s, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times it's people who used to ride when they were younger, but maybe got out of horses, or God forbid, had a scare and kind of got out of it for that reason. Or I have people all the time, they'll call me and say, can adults ride there too? And I'm like, adults ride here too. You know, you don't have to be embarrassed if you've never, you know, like my husband, for instance, he only started riding probably about 5 years ago. He's an adult, you know, and it may take you a little longer to climb that ladder and catch up with the kids who've been riding since they were little, but it really is for everybody. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so obviously this has been in your family for such a long time. Did you ever imagine being the one to run it? Did you kind of know that that was going to be your future?
That is a great question, because I tell people all the time that I did not. And I should have. I should have seen it coming. They see it coming because I tell them it's coming, you know, but I didn't. And I wanted to be a vet a long time ago, you know, when I was in high school and the schooling wasn't appealing. The cost and the schooling wasn't appealing, and the next thing I knew, I was scooping, pooping, riding horses every day, and it's 20 years down the road. So I really didn't. I didn't see it coming.
Holy cow, that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the horses that we have here. Who do we have?
Okay, this is Popsicle.
Popsicle.
And this is Whiskey. And this is Gummy Bear.
Oh my goodness. And then are these are all of your guys' horses that you guys own?
This is my friend's horse. She boards him here. We compete in cowboy mounted shooting, and we travel, and she lets me compete and shoot off of him, and the kids compete too, so they run their ponies. These are our ponies though.
And you know, with today being National I Love Horses Day, just in your opinion, why do you love horses? What's the importance of these beautiful animals?
Well, that was my list that I made, but man, they work so hard for us, not just because this is our business and they have to come to work, and normally the horses here probably work about 5 to 8 hours a week each. And I joke to them that if I was working 5 to 8 hours a week, I'd be pretty happy too. But they're hard workers. When we take them to compete, you know, the horses, especially with the mounted shooting that we do, they're willing, they want to go, most of them like to haul and travel, and it gets them out of their box. It kind of keeps them, it's like if you travel, you know what I mean? You get to see the world and kind of get out there and do different stuff. And horses they're interesting. They teach you so much because each horse, when you meet it, has a different personality, just like if you met people.
Right.
And so some horses are sensitive, some are more stoic, some are kind of outlaws and they don't want to conform and cooperate.
Yeah.
Others are soldiers and they will learn and be trained and do their job. And they teach you, like I said, they teach you so much accountability, patience. Let's put that one, sorry, patience. Let's put that one at the top of the list. You know, there's a lot of reward in training a horse. And every time you ride a horse, you're teaching it something, which is part of the burden of learning to ride.
Of course.
But yeah, they're interesting to me, you know, and like I said, it's fun. We like to run, we like to go fast, we like that adrenaline rush, especially if you're confident.
Yeah.
And overcoming fear is a big part of learning to ride horses. And sometimes you get up on your high horse and you're feeling confident, and then you maybe don't have a good ride, or you get pitched and you kind of start over again.
Yeah.
But you'll come back to it, and you'll come back to it if it's your passion. So.
Right. It's all a process, which is so incredible. So how can people find out more about you? How can they learn about if they want to take, you know, horseback riding lessons?
Sure.
What does that all look like for you?
Well, we have a Facebook page and we have a website. It's Rolling Hills Farm and Equine LLC, and you can pretty much Google it and it pops up anywhere. There's a lot of different facilities in the area that do, some do therapeutic horseback riding lessons. We are a Western riding barn, so we ride in like the more standard cowboy Western saddle. We're not an English barn. But yeah, on the online, that's where it's at.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, this is incredible. Horses are such a beautiful animal, and like you said, I feel like everyone, you know, they grow up and they want to ride a horse. They have a desire to learn more about a horse. I know that when I was little, I did that with Girl Scouts, and it was so much fun. I did it last September in Colorado, and there's just something beautiful about a horse.
I've met people in so many different ways, like people that are going to travel and they want to go on a trail ride when they travel, but they want to kind of have some idea of what they're getting into.
Right.
So they come here, take some lessons, they go ride, and then they come back from the vacation and they're like, we liked that. We want to keep riding, you know?
Yeah.
But it does. It's relaxing. It can be really relaxing. It can be really stressful at times, but like I said, it's not for everybody, but it's a lot of people really find a lot of therapy in horses.
Yeah, they definitely do. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning and talking a little bit about horses on National I Love Horses Day. You've got to give Rolling Hills Farm a check out on Facebook, see what they're all about, and visit the farm and check out these beautiful horses. We'll be back in just a bit.